right, everyone, we're back here with a Couple Sips podcast, and today we're at a live event. Black Grenade Entertainment's hosting their 6th annual reggae night, and today we're here with none other than Coaster.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, man.
Yeah, no problem. And tell us a little about it yourself.
My name is Coaster. I am from Selah, Washington. I don't know. I tour the country and make words rhyme. Apart from doing music, I actually just celebrated 7 years of sobriety, and I actually do motivational speaking at schools and sobriety events, and I try to incorporate a lot of like the positivity and stuff in my live shows and sets.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
awesome. How long have you been doing these like events with Black Grenade? How long have you been working with them?
Man, I must have first met them like 2015, 2016-ish, because I think our first event that we did together was like 2016, and I remember they have that big poster of me and Lem, and I remember we took that picture at the Moose Lodge in Ellensburg at one of my other shows I was doing, and I think we talked, and then I think that's when we decided like, hey, let's do a show. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Gotcha. And what would you say is like your start? Like, when did you started to take like your craft seriously? Because I know, like, I mean, I'm not an artist myself, but I know anybody that wants to work hard in anything always goes through like phases where like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if this is something I want to continue to do.
Absolutely, yeah. We're just like experimenting with stuff and figuring out if that's really who you are.
Yeah.
I feel like from day one, I took like writing serious because I actually started out doing like parodies and stuff, but at the same time I was also writing stuff to vent, because I feel like I didn't have people to talk to, and like it was a way to vent for me, and that's how I got my stuff out, you know what I mean? So I took that aspect serious, but like when I was like finally like, dude, I want to be a rapper, you know, it was probably in my teens, you know, it was probably like 14, 15, 16, where like thinking of it now, it was literally just a dream, and like wouldn't have imagined like I would be where I'm at now, or like what it would take to get there. And it's been a journey, you know. It's been an absolute journey.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it takes is like having a dream, having something that's like, okay, why am I doing this, and is this something that's going to not just better myself but better the people around me, you know?
Absolutely.
It's like you're always thinking about, you know, what's the next move, how can I help someone else, how can my work be a contribution to the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel that.
Oh, you were speaking about, you know, how you were always taking writing seriously. And I could definitely tell that. We spoke about this before the interview. Like how I just, you know, your lyrics are just something that we haven't seen in a while, really, in the hip-hop industry, just because it's like a lot of people like to, you know, put in a lot of ad-libs or just really just like talk about, you know, I mean, in my opinion, nonsense. But
yeah. It's a lost art, you know, like the craft of hip-hop, and like I just take it super serious because it is a lifestyle, and it is like, it's the, you know, not only is it the music I make, but it's the music that speaks to my soul, you know what I mean? Like when I listen to lyrics and stuff that affects me, and it's like I relate to that, you know, that's the kind of music I want to make, you know what I mean? I don't want to make a bunch of turn up music and like, you know what I mean? And like with the last album, I feel like I finally was able to say what I wanted to say, but also sound good for people that aren't into lyrics, or even just don't have that ability, and what I call when they hear a song but they don't listen to a song. They hear it for what it is but not actually listening to what my lyrics are. Yeah,
no, for sure. And it's like you said, it's a lost art. It's something that a lot of people don't take the time to perfect, because, you know, like people like Eminem like studied dictionaries, trying to make sure that like at first his like music was like vulgar and like about his life and stuff like that, but he really took it up a notch by trying to incorporate words that people don't usually use in rap music.
And it's just about challenging yourself, and I feel like that is hip hop. Like that's like challenging yourself to be better, and it's like there's such a competitive spirit about it, and like, you know, at the end of the day, like I know a lot of people like beef between each other, but at the end of the day, like you always want to be better than yourself. You want to be better than you were yesterday, and I feel like, you know, that's where a lot of like the fire and passion comes from, is always just trying to take it to the next level, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Would you say that's like the number one determining factor of why you want to be better at this and why you want to pursue, you know, a lifelong career within music?
Absolutely. Because I feel like, especially as an artist, it's very easy to be a perfectionist and to be very, you know, being your own worst critic. And So it is like just finding different ways to be better. And I like the challenges, you know what I mean? And some artists, not throwing any shade, but like hobby rappers, you know what I mean, that like do it, which is fine. You can do it because you have fun with it. At the end of the day, you want to have fun with it because that, music's supposed to be fun. But I feel like some people don't understand or have that knowledge to find different ways, different outlets, different promotions to make yourself really go,
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something that, it takes a lot of grit, but, you want to make sure that it's not so much focused on being better that you don't have fun with it.
Absolutely. And that's honestly the beautiful balance. You know what I mean? I was just talking about this with other artists, that like the higher you climb up the ladder, like the easier it looks on social media, the easier it looks to see, you go to my, Facebook, Instagram, you see me rocking in front of these big crowds, but the struggle behind the scenes is that much bigger, and it's always that struggle, that something that is equally that good and brings you up that high is also equally that bad, and you gotta really sacrifice, and you gotta really want this, you definitely gotta want it.
And I've like peeped some of your like social media posts, and like some of the crowds that you be performing in front of are huge, like how would you say is what is the difference between performing maybe like in front of a smaller crowd like this versus like a packed like arena or something like that?
I almost find it easier to perform in front of a big crowd. It's that mob mentality, and especially if people are there for a show and excited, people are right there to rock with you. You know what I mean? Smaller, intimate venues, it's a little bit harder to impress people or whatever. But at the same time, I do love performing at intimate venues because that's when you do get to like try out your new music, or you get to joke around on the mic more. It's not so serious, and it's an easier way to be on a microphone and show people like you're still a person. I feel like with bigger shows, you got to be there to be an artist. You know what I mean? You got to show up, you got to tear that show down, and like that's what it is. But like smaller, intimate shows, like you can really just like almost like coffee shop vibes. You know what I mean? And just like get personal with people, talk to people, and joke with them, and I don't know. I like both. And
you get to like find a little bit more about yourself within the smaller crowd because you're like, it's a little bit more personal. They get a more personalized experience with you because you're not attending to, like 100 people or more than that.
Yeah, you get more one-on-one time. But even at bigger shows, it's crazy. I don't understand like the impact I have on people, like just going up before I start every show, I tell them a little bit about myself and that like, I'm sober and like blah, blah, blah. And like last night we just rocked a show, just did a little 3-stop tour with Swayze and Wes Walker. And we were in Portland last night and I did my normal blah, blah, blah. And after I performed, it was crazy how many people came up to me and was like, yo, like I'm 107 days sober. I'm blah, blah, blah. I'm a couple weeks sober. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, you don't understand. Even though you're at a show where everybody's turning up, you really don't understand like the impact that your story could have on somebody.
For sure.
Where they are like, oh, well, this guy's sober. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's not so bad being out here and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And okay, well, another thing I wanted to ask, is like, so me and my lovely girlfriend behind the camera here, we've done this podcasting and doing business, with your partner is so much different than, like a friend or like someone within your circle, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how would you say, like, because I know you have your fiance here too.
Yep.
And
big shout out.
Yep. And how would you say how does she help you within going forward? Because I know everybody has that support system within a great relationship.
Yeah. It's absolutely incredible to be able to travel with my fiance. Not only the aspect of like doing music, but like we are such tourists and we love going and seeing things. And just like, we had a tour last fall that went from like Idaho down to Arizona. And of course we had to go see the Grand Canyon. We went to Tombstone, Arizona to see all the old stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
We love that. But it is hard, you know what I mean, when you travel on the road, even as artists, and I tell artists when you tour together, it's like, hey, just know we're probably gonna get in a fight because like that's just what happens when you're on the road with somebody and sharing that much time together. Like, and those are the little speed bumps that you have to work through, and it'll really test your relationship. But she does all my videography, all my photography. So she holds down like my music videos, my stage performance, but she also does like my merchandise table. And people don't even realize it because I feel like my relationship was not out in the open for like our first 5 years of being together. Okay. Because it's just one of those things where it's just easier to keep quiet, keep it pushing, and I don't think people even knew I was with somebody till I announced that we were engaged. Yeah. You know, well, the people, you know, close to us and the people that obviously like saw us at shows like knew, you know what I mean? But just like to the whole world, it's just one of those things where it's just easier to keep your head down, keep it pushing, and we get to go have fun, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it helps like being an artist where, you know, if girls think I'm available, or if like guys come up and hit on her at the merch table, and like she's gonna sell some stuff. Yeah. Girls hit on her at the merch table, she's gonna sell some stuff. You know what I mean? And it's just like we get to go have fun, go back to the hotel room, keep it pushing. Like, you know what I mean?
Then there's always an advantage to it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's something that, you know, me and Derry, my co-host here, we also have this like mentality where it's like it's not about really making it so much out in the open, because like you don't have to post your loved one to be like, yeah, I'm in a relationship. Absolutely. Like this proves that I love her, you know. It's like it's more so, you know, keeping it quiet, like how you say, keep it pushing, and it's all professional. And when it comes with business, and you kind of have to find a balance between separating your love life and the business lifestyle that you have with them.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think
it's not impossible, guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? They tell you like you can't do, you know, stuff or chase dreams with your spouse because of certain things. That's not true. Yep. It's not true. And you'd be surprised how many artists there are that you don't know that really have that person in their corner, and you just don't know about it.
Hey, some people needed to hear that.
Hey.
But okay. And one of the last things I wanted to mention is you just got to deal with Joan's Soda, right? Or you have your own soda, right?
Unofficial, but yeah, we're working on it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we just released some custom Joan soda that have my face on it, 4 different flavors. It's got my bio on it, but we're really trying to push for a meeting, just because I would love to have a beverage with me when I go on tour, but also doing motivational speaking at schools. Not that I'm trying to push sugary substances to kids, you know what I mean? But to have a non-alcoholic beverage back me, and especially Joan Soda, big shout out, who are, you know, a Northwest Seattle-based company. I would love if, you know, somebody like that would jump on board with me. So, and that's another thing when it comes back to like just trying to find different avenues and how to get yourself out there, and how you can network with different companies to try to really put yourself out in a different way that like nobody's really thought about, you know.
For sure. And it seems like you already did the work for them. They just have to, you know, say, hey, sponsor this man, Joan Soda.
Yeah, for real. Thank you. Yes. And big shout out, because I actually got the idea from somebody else, and they tipped me off to it, and they're just like, yo, like I did this and it can work. And so we did a whole like Easter drop, because we had like all the colorful flavors, and we did a photo shoot with it. But yeah, big shout out to those guys that tipped me off and gave me the idea. But
yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna need some of that. I mean, so on our regular podcast episodes where we're filming at home or in our studio, right? We're called a Couple Sips Podcast because we're a couple and we usually sip on something.
Nice.
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna need some of those sodas. We'll put it on the next episode.
Absolutely. We actually we broke down one time. We're like, hey, let's try this one. And so we end up like trying the blue one, and it's actually pretty fire.
Nice.
Tastes like an Otter Pop. Well, because I used to drink Joan Soda as a kid, and the green apple was always my flavor, my go-to flavor. So it just like very reminiscent of just having those, you know.
Gotcha. And then I believe for the last question we have here is, well, basically, what does Coaster have going on right now? What do you have, in the future events, and what are you working on currently?
Well, big shout out to Swayze and Wes Walker. I just did 3 stops with them: Bellingham, Seattle, Portland. Now I'm here tonight, Ellensburg. Big shout out to Black Grenade Entertainment. We're in the building tonight, and then I headline a festival tomorrow in Ford, Washington. We're home for a couple days, and then I pick up tour with Stevie Stone out in Montana. Okay. We got to tour with him last fall. For the most part, just a lot of shows and a lot of festivals coming in, which is kind of weird how it happened, because the year started off so slow for me, and then out of nowhere it just kind of popped off. And like my second show of the year, I was doing a halftime performance for Tri-Cities indoor professional football team. Big shout out to the Rhinos.
Hey, okay.
They had me come out and do a halftime show, and like since then it just started popping off with like bookings. So
gotcha. The man stays busy, gal. The man stays busy.
I try.
Yeah. Well, that's all we got for today, man. Hey, I appreciate you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me here.
Yes,
it's been a pleasure, and thank all you guys.
Oh, and before you go, or do your tag handles for your Instagram, social medias.
Okay, you can find me on Tinder at Click President, CLIQUE President. You can find me on Instagram and Snapchat, and then I believe my Facebook is facebook.com/coasterclick. And that's where you can find me, but you can also find my stuff on Spotify. Don't be afraid to shoot me a message, and I'll send you links to any of my stuff, you know.
Hey, there we go. And appreciate the hat, too.
Hey, yeah, you look fresh with it, bro.
Hey,
thank you.
Get a zoom on this. Isn't this pretty cool? Okay. So I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.